Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/One Piece. Over 150,000 titles to choose from via iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
This is the unofficial One Piece podcast, episode 304 for the week of Monday, February 3rd, 2014. My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
On today's episode, we have the great translator, our special guest, Stephen Paul.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
And we have from the Ass Backwards Anime Podcast at SSAA Podcast.com, we have Doctor.
I'm not that special.
So thanks, Doc, for coming on. It's been a while.
It's been a while, yes.
A while. We have a lot to do on today's podcast. We have a really good chapter this week. I'm really excited to talk about it. We have chapter 736. And Ed, we have a lot of anime coming up, too.
Yes, we do, Zach. We have episode 631. And it's full of enthusiasm, the Corrida Coliseum. So we actually get a pretty good shot of Dressrosa on this episode. And for the Toonami recap, we have episode 239. The Straw Hat Pirates are the culprits, the protectors of the City of Water. Whew, that's a long one.
Well, it's Toei.
It's a big comparison from last week.
We may also have Greg piece the tweeting the entire time. You won't hear his voice, but we'll say his opinions.
Heckling us silently.
He's heckling us silently from the Raptors.
From the Raptors?
The Raptors?
Is that the term? The Rafters.
The Raptors.
Oh my god, it's the Greg Velociraptors. Just imagine Jurassic Park, that scene with the kids in the kitchen, but they're all wearing chopper hats.
Clever girls.
I have never been more...
Clever, Greg.
I've never been more happy to make a mistake. A few things to tell you guys before we start the show. First, our website. Lots of news, this week has been a little quieter, but Laura, our editorial writer and editor, has started writing chapter recaps. So if you, want to read a different opinion, a more, a less joking opinion probably of the manga.
Without accents.
Without accents. That's what I'm trying to say. Less accents. Check out her column. It'll come out every Tuesday, going over the latest chapter in Weekly Shonen Jump. I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun to read, and I hope you guys give that a read for the next chapters and the last chapter. I also want to let everyone know, Greg, if you speak Japanese, Greg has done a full interview with Kappa Yamaguchi, and that is out on onepiece.com, one-piece.com. Check that out. If you haven't, it's just awesome to see some of those images, and some of them look, as Greg will say, kind of, Japanese. Is that the word I'm looking for? And I think William will also be putting out an article concerning that interview, going over that interview. And hopefully Greg will be on and not just yelling at us from the Raptors. Okay. And he'll be on to talk a little bit about that when his life calms down slightly. I think that's everything. It's been kind of a quieter season, but I've been having a lot of fun with these chapters lately. So why don't we get right into it?
Okay. And now it's time for the news with me, Ed. News from Firecrouch this week. He has a few pieces of news. The first one, Valentine's Day is fast approaching, and so are polls concerning it. Japanese ebook retailer Ebook Japan recently polled male users on which anime characters they'd most like to receive chocolates, as well as asking females which characters they'd like to give chocolates to. Tony Chopra was fifth most popular character for females to give chocolates to, which is gross when you think about it because he's not human.
Thank you,
And wouldn't he die if he ate chocolate?
That's dogs.
That's dogs.
That's just dogs.
I think that's just dogs.
Is there something with reindeer with chocolate? I don't know.
I think reindeer could have chocolate.
Well,
don't try it at home, kids. Don't feed your reindeer
you have a reindeer.
chocolate. But don't.
We just like to pretend that they eat carrot sticks and celery.
If anyone is listening from Finland or Lapland, basically Sweden or Norway, let us know if you feed your reindeer chocolate.
Yes. Males voted for Nami in second place for who they'd want to receive chocolates from, which is a more sane choice. I'd take chocolates from her anytime. Wink. Oh yeah, big boy. And the next bit of news. One Piece Film Z aired on January 18th at 9 p.m. on Fuji TV and garnered an average household rating of 12.6. Also for the week of January 13th to the 19th, One Piece, the TV series, was the 6th highest rated animated TV show in Japan with an average household rating of 9.5.
Also, guess who is beating ANN in rankings now? We have Adil Muhammad joining us on the anime news side. And he got this ranking list out super early. So OnePiecePodcast.com is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Thank you.
Power ranking.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to beat ANN since it's ANN. Yeah. Let me be smug about something, Ed. Come on. I am not self-centered. What are you talking about? This joke won't come back later. Go on.
And One Piece was this final piece of news. One Piece was the 3rd highest rated animated program on Japanese TV for the week of January 20th to 26th, scoring an average household rating of 8.8. So
I was looking up to see if Zed was the highest rated program, and it would have been if it were not for Saze-san, which had a 17.5. Like, what the hell? That's ridiculous.
I guess families watch that thing.
I'm now putting things in perspective. The numbers that One Piece gets in Japan are 9.5 to 12.6, and in the United States, it gets a 0.7. Sorry to spoil that, but yeah.
Well, it's also relative.
It's also One Piece is on, I think, at a less accessible hour, but maybe I'm up more at 1 a.m. on Saturday nights than 8, or I think it's 8:30 a.m. on Sunday mornings. 9:30 a.m. on Sunday.
That's
mornings.
probably true.
Yeah, but actually now I'm up more early. This is kind of sad, actually. I guess that's all the news. Thank you, Firecrouch, and everyone knows the catchphrase, so let's all say it together. Oh yeah, big boy. I'm the only one who said it. How is that possible? Oh, jeez. This is the manga recap for chapter 736, Supreme Officer Diamante. Ed,
Diamante.
What's going on in the front page?
Nami the cat burglar gets burglarized by some cats by Jun Sanpei, female.
You don't say.
Yes.
Why'd Jump feel like they need to include the fact that, hey guys, a female? Ooh,
No,
Steven?
that would have been in the person's pen name. That's what they would have told him. Yeah, I don't know what it means. But.
First, we actually have
I'm Steven Yurko, male.
No, I love the screen that says "not thief." Was that originally in English?
Yeah.
Okay, I like that a lot.
Wow, is it so bad that I couldn't read that till you just mentioned that's what it says?
That's pretty bad.
What did you think? Oh wow, that's
what is this techno bab? I don't know. It's Pig Latin. I can't read this. I'll wait for Steven.
And a present for Nami is what they're carrying away. But what do you guys, and the one cat distracted by the mouse. But what did you guys think of this?
Finally, some turnaround. Nami gets taste of her own medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Really? She doesn't seem like she cares.
Yeah.
Or notices.
Or maybe she's just like everyone in this world that is just, they succumb to just cute, adorable cats.
I like to believe that the present for Nami bag is just like all the guys' dirty laundry that they're hoping she would wash for them, and so the cats don't realize they're taking that away instead.
Yeah, I think that's likely. Okay, so
clearly she has enough jewelry already.
Well, yeah, look at that. I mean, at least in this cover page, she is doing pretty well for herself. I mean, I would not mind being in her position.
Yeah.
Okay, Ed, go ahead.
All right. On the first page, are you ready for the finals? That was much better last time, but
I preferred it the first time.
we're back in the Corrida Coliseum, and the winners of all 4 competition blocks and Mr. Diamante. And they are going to go for the grand prize, to be the grand champion. And, I don't know, everyone's sort of in their element. Burgess is, like, hulking up. Bartolomeo's heckling the crowd. Diamante's all like, all right. And Lucy is just sort of standing there, and Rebecca's off to the side.
That is not Luffy.
It's Lucy.
That's an imposter.
Stop impersonating him.
a big fat phony. And
of course,
Rebecca's off to the side there.
And speaking of Rebecca, we get the return of the Die Rebecca
Clap, 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 clap.
chance.
Yes.
I assume that's how that goes.
And up on the screen, we see the Logia Devil Fruit. The flame fruit, the strongest fruit. I'm not sure if that's exactly true, but the Logia is the strongest of the 3 types.
Yeah, the Logia, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what they meant.
And everyone sort of is like, I'm going to get the fruit. And then Burgess, that's what Burgess says. And Lucy is thinking, that's Jesus Burgess.
No, that's some inner monologue right there.
Yeah. And Rebecca can definitely tell that the person under the beard is not Luffy.
Well, I like what's happening. You're getting the inner monologue of people just realizing who the other people are. It's like, wait, that's Jesus. Oh, wait, that's not Lucy. There is no Lucy. I think that's the first issue. I love this opening page. Like, I think this is probably one of my favorite opening pages we've got in a while, or at least more memorable ones, because you've got Steven Tyler Diamante on the front there. You got Bartolomeo just being, the heel that he is, and you got Jesus, and you got Mr. Cravat as Lucy, and Rebecca in the background. It's fun stuff. I guess there's nothing else to say. I don't even know why I had to list that again. Stephen.
Thanks for the recap, Zach.
Thank you. That's why I'm here. It's a manga recap.
But then Gats, our announcer, notices something strange is happening, and we've got some intruders, some people unhappy about the results of the previous block.
Hogwash.
Yeah, hogwash. That's the euphemism.
That's a Steve Austin word of the day.
The actual word was unfit for TV aired, but yes, there's some controversy afoot. These guys, they have a bone to pick with Rebecca. We obviously never would have lost to you, despite the fact that they still got beat up. So yeah, they're going to settle it now. And the crowd, of course, loves this because they didn't want Rebecca in the final anyways. So they're all for it. But Diamante steps in front, and I like how he's the champion of the Coliseum, and then these no-name guys are like, "Move it, you!" Like, yeah, maybe, I don't know. Do they know who he is? But at any rate, he pulls his cape out and he says, "Yeah, you gotta learn when to fold."
Really?
And, you like that? You like that?
When to hold 'em.
When to fold 'em.
And he's like, "Yeah, this is my show. Quit. You're ruining my show." And so he's doing the Matador thing. He's got his cape out. Presumably it's red, and he's going, right here, come on. And he's waving it around. And they say, "Don't treat us like charging bulls." And then they charge in like bulls into his cape.
Hey, wait a minute.
And instead of just like gliding through it, or I assume they're just trying to like stab him through the cape.
I have no idea what they're doing.
they basically just run headfirst into it and like bounce off. There's this big crunch sound effect as all these guys. It's basically it's not quite the cape that they think it is.
Yeah, it turns out it's something a little bit more interesting. So you can even see how the someone who's charging with a sword that was just like snaps off, and you're like, wait, what's going on here? And it turns out this man is a flag man, but just like Gene Hackman.
He's also bleeding there.
Flagman.
It looks like, right?
It just I just saw the Dayman episode of It's Always Sunny on TV today.
I love that
because I was about to sing the song.
Dayman,
Flagman.
master of the night. Man.
Yeah,
It's
Master
Flagman.
of the Corded Coliseum.
Yeah.
Yes.
Flagman.
Yeah. Yes, it's ripples through by a breeze, but the cape is actually hard steel, and he has the power of the ripple fruit. So he can cause any object that he touch to ripple, no matter its qualities. And what is it? He changes his sword. What is this?
Yeah, I'm
His
more-
sword is a flag.
So
So-
who taught Diamante this ability? Frickin' Zeppeli?
Actually, I'm
the
not
purple.
sure. I'm not sure that that's his sword. I think that's his mic. It might even be his mic stand.
Yeah.
It looks. Is it?
No, he's holding a sword there, right? Isn't he?
Is it?
I thought
Well, he's got a
is.
handle of some sort, but in a lot of the other panels, he's holding a mic stand.
I guess it doubles as a thingy.
I don't know. It looks like a sword to me because it even has. Yeah, it's the full handle. I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to pretend I know what's
It's like a
going on.
rapier.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
But then it becomes something more interesting.
It becomes a bull.
You are the charging bull.
He uses the corrida glaive. Glaive? Yeah, is that right? Glaive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he's like, I'll turn back if I were you. The final match has its own special fighting fish. And then you see dun 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 dun.
If
and
they
it's-
don't use that music, they don't have the rights to it.
Yes.
You don't
And
say.
yeah. And you see in the water a flying, well, I have no idea what this is. Bullfish?
What are they called again?
The
Fighting fish.
Fighting fish. Yeah.
Fighting
so
fish.
flying fighting fish. I know
Yes.
it's a mouthful. It's a alliteration though. Flying fighting fish.
They have a fine tooth. They're fine tuned to the scent of blood. And it comes charging in. And
Oh.
it knocks about. Oh, that's
Yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So on the next page, we see that it. You know, the result is they fall in the water, and let's say they die. We don't really care that much. Right?
The end.
Yeah.
I don't think we do. And Diamante announces into the microphone. Now that I see him as Steve Tyler, I like this. Is his character is just so much funnier. So he's like, these fighting fish are way above anything you've seen before. Did you see that deadly charge? Okay, so maybe they did die. And he explains they'll lash out even against the people in the ring. They follow no rules. They are rebels. They're like the hipster fish.
I'm a loaded daddy rebel.
They're a bunch of degenerates.
So they brought in the alpha males of each school of fighting fish, and one of them, on one of their backs, the prize, the flame fruit.
I like the way the fish looks like we saw no like it in Abu. Oh, God. Look at his face.
It's like we can't go a manga recap without accents.
No, we can actually. It's a good thing I can't make accents, so I don't.
I can't make sounds. Mouth.
That's such an evil. It's such an evil face, though.
I know. So on the next side of the page, we have Diamante in his full glory. He is the supreme officer of the Diamante of the Don Quixote family. The diamonds, you get it. So he says, the rules are simple. The last person standing is the winner. So get that fruit.
Get that fruit.
Get
Go
that
get it.
fruit. Go get that fruit.
Well, go get it.
Well, you need to get the fruit, and you have to be the last one standing. Then you win. Otherwise, I guess you're just standing and you have no fruit. So what do you have to show for that? Nothing.
So even if you win, then you got to fight a bunch of fighting fish. This wasn't.
Yeah.
This wasn't stated in the beginning.
Two
like
things
instead
about
of-
this. So first of all, he's throwing the shocker up, and second of all, like I don't understand, how does he fight with those legs? Like, look at those ankles; they're like little toothpicks.
Oh my god, yeah. And the shocker is a good thing to catch there too. I didn't see that.
Yeah,
Wait, we have, was it Baron Tamago, from the Long Lake tribe? How does that man walk?
yeah.
Those are some tight jeans. That's all I have to say.
Very
Anyway,
Jeans. Those are not jeans. Those are leather pants.
I don't know what they are, but
They're shiny.
Okay. What's next?
And now the final battle begins. A 5-man battle royal with the hero Diamante, a free-for-all for a devil fruit, a death match with a fighting fish. And we get, close-up shots of our 5 fighters. And notice on Lucy here.
Mr. Cravat.
Mr. Cravat.
Lucy is acceptable.
Lucy.
That is acceptable.
I
That's
was
true.
addressing the same character.
That's true.
Wearing some sunglasses. Was Luffy? I don't think Luffy was wearing the sunglasses when he was fighting.
No.
So, yeah.
He had them, though. He had them.
He was wearing them in this week's anime episode.
Yeah, he
actually.
was.
Yes.
So they existed.
But I don't think he was fighting. I don't remember him wearing them when he was fighting. But
No.
Mr. Cravat is rocking them. But if you look underneath his left eyeglass, you see some badass battle scars there.
This seems to we've been saying for weeks that we think Mr. Cravat's the character with the eye patch, or it may
For
be
1
the
week,
character.
you didn't say those, Zach. Zach, like, I don't think so.
I know. I wasn't. I was the one who was against it, but people on the podcast said it, right?
It's like you can't really tell if he's wearing an eye patch because you don't really see the strap for it yet. Like maybe they would have deliberately left it out so it wasn't too obvious. But it'd be kind of weird if he took that eye patch off and then just wore sunglasses over his.
That's a pretty intense scar he has on that side of his face. I assume that scar is from. I mean, let's say he had a childhood in which he was on a boat and it exploded, and hypothetically, of course, and he was taken to, let's say, like Zoro's home island to be healed by, let's say, like the head of the revolutionaries. That's, I think, where that scar would be from. Hypothetically, of course, yes. I have no proof of any of that.
Who will earn the flame fruit? We're going to find out because the bell has rung. But we're not going to see that fight because we moved to the Outer Tower Palace outskirts. The outer.
I was not happy about that.
Yeah. That was a really well placed cliffhanger, but also really annoyingly placed cliffhanger.
But get happy because we got some more Three Stooges stuff coming up.
That's good news.
And one of them, I believe, one of them, and notice. They're sneaking up to the entrance of the palace because we get a sneak speech bubble. And I believe it's Kinemon that asks us the entrance to the palace. And Violet says, "Not yet. That's the door to the external tower on the outer word of the palace." And we see a ton of guards standing out in front of that giant door. And she said, "Don't let the guards spot you." In those ridiculous outfits.
This reminds me of one of those video games where you have to go and be quiet and sneak
Metal
around.
Gear Solid.
Yeah, there's a bunch. Halo.
It reminds me of
has
this
that
week's
too.
Toonami episode, actually,
Yeah, that's true.
where he dives face first into the Galley Law building.
Yeah, this is very similar.
It's
There's
very
another-
Luffy.
Yeah.
Yeah, very Luffy. And we're about to see more of that in the next page. But
Luffy.
They have some pretty good balance. They're almost horizontal there, peeking around the side of the the tower.
The three of them, yeah.
Yeah.
And Violet's just standing up normally.
yeah. She's a standby, but she said, "There's another secret entrance to the outer tower. It's over here. She said, if we raise trouble, the officers will be called, will be trapped. Pika is, Pika in particular is the one guy. If he finds them, they'll be in deep shit."
I didn't notice in the background you could actually see a little bit. Something's going on back there.
Some dust getting kicked up
Yeah.
because Kinemon asks, "Where is Sir Luffy?" And what's her face? Wicca, sorry. She's over there. And in the distance you hear Gum Gum as all 4 of them turn around.
Sweat drop.
And of course this panel would not be funny if it wasn't for these costumes. And you hear it's like, "Who's that koi fish?"
That's what makes it. Because you just imagine this guy in
the heavy lines just showing shadow on Zoro's costume face, just going, "Oh shit!"
But
I love that.
There's no facial expression.
I love that too because that hatching on Zoro just makes him look even more like Captain Caveman, just that body shape.
He really does look like Captain Cave.
Can someone do that impression?
No.
I don't know.
No.
Fine.
Man.
Thank you, Steve.
Man.
You just watched that episode and you can't get it out of your head.
The flag, man. It was on today. That's why it's stuck in my head.
No, that scene, it's amazing. Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my pages are better than all y'all's.
Jerk.
We're all mad about that.
You see Luffy's face. He's like, ah! And he's firing up a giant pistol that comes flying out of the koi fish.
First of all, they said, "What's up with that koi?" First of all, I love how all the schmucks, all the guards of the Doflamingo family, love to just point out and describe who is attacking them. They did it with Frankie, and they just discuss everything about their attacker. But one of them mistakes him for a pufferfish. Why a pufferfish? Because he just blew up his giant hand to punch them with. And Ed, sorry to hijack your page, but I would like to point out that is a fish punching people.
Yes, that's what I said.
I love it.
But no, I'm saying that's how freaking awesome this spread is. It is a goddamn fish, a dopey looking fish, and
His
it's
little tiny legs sticking out.
It's awesome.
It's probably one of my favorite panels of the series. Comedically, at least, definitely.
What the world is he doing? They ask incredulously.
But with the same exact faces.
Yes.
I love it. Oh, it's so good.
All right, doors open. It's not what I had in plan.
That time Zoro's eyes peek out of there.
Well, Violet's like, well, it's open. This will be faster going this way. And Luffy wants to take his koi fish off. No. But he's going to anyway, even if people don't want to let him do it.
And so ends the great run
Of the Three Stooges.
of the Three Stooges.
There.
Cat. Koi fish costumes. Say it one more time, Ed.
There.
I'm so upset that it's the end of the Three Stooges. This has been probably one of my favorite shticks.
Known, don't change.
Oh, what a great shtick. Oh.
And one of the
Yeah, it is.
one of the guards.
I'm sorry. One last thing. I just wanted Luffy to confront Doflamingo wearing that costume.
I know. It's not going to happen now, though. Oh.
One of the guards says to wake up.
Doflamingo would be like, "Who are you?" And Luffy would just, sorry, I hit the microphone. He'd pull his lips back and be like, "I'm going to be king of the pirates." Don't to be continued. That would be a great ending. I should write this series.
You should.
And you could finish out the page.
And there's a guy waking up.
And he says,
Interesting.
what does he say?
He seems to recognize someone.
Thank you, Stephen. Why don't you just go to the next page?
Oh, was that?
Suddenly, and now someone is calling Doflamingo in his control room here in the suits chamber, and they are reporting that we have an intruder. It's Straw Hat Luffy.
This is a big. This is really reminiscent of NES Lobby. I don't know if you remember when Spandam was ignoring the phone calls.
Yeah. It's like, it's not necessarily the most flashy scene, but you can tell this is sort of like the moment where Doflamingo kind of starts to realize, it'll be a turning point in his the way he is reacting to all this. So first he's confused because he's watching the Coliseum there, and he's right on the screen. Lucy is dodging around. The fighting fish are darting over the battlefield there, and he's right in the middle of it. And it's like, what is he talking about? He's right there. And Baby Five is continuing the call, and she's like, "Oh, you must be mistaken because Straw Hat is Lucy. He's fighting in the Coliseum." But as we know, he's certainly not fighting in the Coliseum. I see him.
I want to note, what's his fate? Sorry, since it's this panel. What's the name of the guy with the hat? Gladius. I like that he's now wearing a helmet because his hair destroyed his old hat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
I didn't notice that before. Yeah, okay, sorry.
But no, the Luffy is actually inside the palace, flattening guys, stomping him in the face with his sandals there.
Just like in NES Lobby.
Yeah, except this time he's got Zoro with him.
And he has a Hawaiian
Kinemon
shirt on.
Yeah.
Is Kinemon there?
Thank you, Zach.
Because Kinemon
I don't know if we
disappears
can
at
see-
some
maybe
point.
have to-
I think this is the point Kinemon disappears, because he disappears at some point in this chapter.
So yeah, they're taking out all the guards left and right as they continue their rampage through the apparently rather large palace system, and yeah, it's them all right. So Doflamingo, he's sort of doing like the back and forth, like he's looking at the call, and then he's looking at the screen. He's like, well, then who the hell is that in the Coliseum? What the hell is going on? He knows something has gone very wrong here.
That's the first time we see him that angry, right?
No, we've seen him.
Have we seen him that?
Like the first time when Law got the hang of him, when I think
No,
when,
he wasn't yelling. He was just seething. I don't think he was yelling, because he still kind of had things under control. He still he knew how to fix this. This he doesn't know how to fix. Stock.
Yeah, and then we decided to go to another place on lift between the trading port and the palace. We see little soldier getting punched in the face. Oh no, poor guy. And we see Don Flamingo, Diamante Army, Diamond Lao G. And this guy with this getup, I cannot describe to you.
It's total Power Ranger.
The state of this man's uniform.
Well, also you have to mention that he looks like he's 70-something,
Yeah.
wearing a Power Rangers uniform.
It's like this little big gate. Does he have like his mouth is almost always open, except for the little scene in the back. And we have I forget the little bug's name. Forget his name.
He's also doing like a circle with his hand and a circle in his mouth. Is there a joke to that, Stephen?
Oh.
Well, you see the joke he's going to do with his hands on the second
Yes.
part of the page. But yeah, I don't think there's anything to do with his mouth.
Okay.
I do kind of wonder. I've never read it, but I know that there is there's an old series from the 90s called Cyborg Grandpa G, which was I believe it was the first series from Obata when he actually wrote it and drew it himself. He wasn't just the artist.
Oh, wow.
But I've never actually read it, so I don't know if this is a direct reference to that. But he does have the G in his name, and he's going to do some G stuff.
He's pretty G.
Yeah.
Yo, it's such a
Straight
G
up.
right here. Rocking the G spot.
Oh, God.
And I killed it.
And done.
The state of my jokes, man.
I forgot the little bug's name.
That one is Cub.
Cub? Thank you.
Yeah, the flyer.
Never would have remembered that.
Thank God Steven here. And this guy, that's Luffy.
That guy.
What?
Oh, that's right.
Wait. How can there be two Luffys? So you see this little cub charging into Lao, and I think what is it? He's trying to poke him in the eye.
Mm-hmm.
Lao puts on his glasses. It doesn't. I'm trying to think like this.
I think to
wow.
see it. I think it was a joke.
yeah.
Like he couldn't see what was happening in front of him, and he
Yes, that's exactly what it was. I think because we can't even see Lauji's eyes, so he's just squinting really hard right here, and I guess he had to put on his reading glasses to.
to see him. Yeah,
To swat the little.
he kind of reminds me of like Farnsworth with that. I don't know
Yeah.
why. Yeah,
Presumably, this is like at super fast speed because Cub barely moves between the two panels, but Laoji's like zip zip zip.
I mean clearly speed.
G. He's a G.
Well, clearly he's very fast. Yeah, Doc, go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, it's like if only we'd known that this live had an officer in it.
Can you please explain the accent, Stephen?
That's the Tentatas.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Except,
Yeah, no, that's-
Doctor read it like Dusty Rhodes, but Doctor, you're 1 week too late because I already gave that accent to another character.
If you will. Yeah, sorry.
Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah. Hard times. So he's like, "Oh, you fools! I've received an order to protect the entrance to the House of Toys.
That's perfect. I like it.
You fool!" And so I waited at the entrance to the underground ports and rode on the lift. And again, meaning I got Off on the wrong floor the first time, G.
G. And I thought skull jokes were bad.
This one makes no sense.
I really like the bolding of the G in GOT.
It's like, why the G in GOT? Why is that?
Because it starts with the letter G.
That was the only G.
What, but in Japanese, how did that work?
No, there was a guy. He uses ga, and then he goes G.
But it was in the middle of the sentence also?
Yeah.
Alliteration.
But it's not alliteration.
It makes me wonder if, like, each time he has a big scene, he's going to do one of these. Like, it's like some kind of Sesame Street joke, like, G, the letter G.
Today's beating is sponsored by the letter G.
Right.
Are you learning now?
You know how I said I always wanted a Jinbei Muppet? Well, now I want a Loud G Muppet, too.
Yes.
G is for...
God, G is for
God, that's good enough for me. I don't know. That wasn't even a Cookie Monster voice. What was I doing?
I don't know.
State of my impressions, man.
I also like the gong. What does it say in the background, Steven?
Gong.
Gong. It starts with a G. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Hey, he said you won't come close to the palace. There you go.
Oh, was that background in English originally, or did you change?
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
No, we didn't.
Isn't that more unusual, or no?
I mean, he does it sometimes.
All right.
But there was a panel earlier just a few chapters ago where, like, Diamante was doing something and it was like, yeah, behind him, sort of thing. So it happens.
Wait, so Lao Ji, I guess, from the surface, took the elevator down.
He was supposed to go to the House of Toys, which is the middle floor.
Yeah.
And instead, he went from the palace all the way down to the port, and then he had to get back on it to go up to the middle level where the House of Toys is.
I don't know why that's so important, but
well, it's his joke.
I guess maybe he. I wonder if he'll have forgetfulness or something, or maybe he'll just be like Ace's thing where he falls asleep all the time. By all the time, I mean twice, and then never
Narcolepsy?
Yeah.
Narcolepsy. Yeah.
Then he fell asleep
I
forever.
prefer Alzheimer's.
Wow.
He's
Okay.
old.
Last page.
Just want to point out too, like,
It was.
but then again, I guess I can't really harp on Ace's narcolepsy because I guess that really would have killed the mood if that happened during Marineford. Luffy, I'll save you.
All right, this is a pretty big last page. So
Literally.
yeah. Well, thank you for that, Steve. We head back toward the palace. They head toward outer Tower B1, or that's around where they are. We don't have Kinemon here. It is Luffy, Zoro, and Violet running through. Zoro wielding his two swords, Luffy wielding his Hawaiian shirt, and Zoro. Luffy asks Zoro which way to go. Oh no, she's asking Violet which way to go, and
That would have been a bad mistake.
I was very confused there for a second. And they say left, and they head left, and Luffy comments how it is empty, so I guess security hasn't caught up. But wait, there's something way worse than security. The wall starts to creak and grick, and Luffy notices something's wrong, and that is because there is a giant Pika just... He is the wall. I don't know how else to describe it.
Holy giant Pikachu.
Gotcha.
Pika power? No. Holy shit. Holy shit.
Oh, no, that's what Luffy says next. Don't steal my stuff here, Steve.
No, that's what all three of the characters just said. Like, Luffy says, holy shit. Zoro says, holy shit. Viola says, holy shit.
No, Violet's or Viola. It's Violet or Viola? It might be.
Violet was her alias.
Oh, right. Viola is like, oh no, I knew this shit could happen, and now it happened.
She's like, oh shit.
But like, holy shit, this is like something out of like Lord of the Rings or
Attack on
Never-Ending
Titan?
Story.
Not so much that, but yeah.
I was thinking Never-Ending Story.
No, I know. I'm only thinking
strong
Attack.
hands.
I'm only thinking Attack on Titan because this is a very similar plot point. But yeah,
Oh, what? Giant thing and oh no?
yes.
You're right. There
That's
is a
like
list
every
of-
episode of Attack on Titan. No, but that concludes the chapter. But do you want to talk about this last page first? I feel like this last page needs.
Yeah, this is freaking crazy.
I know. Cool though.
I can't wait to figure out what. I can't wait to find out what his Devil Fruit ability is, because it's like we know that Senor Pink, he could swim through walls and like the ground and the floors and stuff. So it's not that. So I'm curious what the hell exactly this is.
And notice it like creates wakes on the actual floor they're standing on.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, he's not just controlling wherever the hell he came out of. It was the middle of a hallway. I mean, it's not like
unless it's also part of his body.
Yeah, it's very curious. I mean, what devil fruit do you guys think this is? Or is it a devil fruit?
Stone fruit.
I have a feeling it's just that he could go through material, but
then he becomes material.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then like Senor Pink, that's his ability.
No, he just swims through material.
No, to like go to move through material.
Right, but he's not moving through it. He's becoming.
So I'm saying he's just a stone man.
Do you think it's just stone?
Yeah.
He's a stoned man.
Something simple.
I guess that would be simple. Yeah. I mean,
he's a Logia user.
Any other thoughts other than that?
I hope that wherever Kinemon is, he's still in the frog costume.
Me too.
You see, he didn't want to take it off.
Right, exactly. That's why he went a different way. It's like, fine, you do things your way, I'll do things my way.
Well, I'm very curious as to what Kinemon is after, because that's a very clear, like, he's not there anymore, something's happening.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, it's like his ultimate goal is to find Kanjuro, who we know is in the House of Toys somewhere, presumably.
And we know he has some sort of...
He can't be a toy, because then they would have forgotten about him. So he's got to be like held prisoner somehow.
And we know that. I mean, he has some sort of history with Doflamingo. Why was he going to Dressrosa anyway? There's a lot of what Kinemon's like objective is that we don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm very curious to see more about that, which I guess we will eventually.
Who else is excited for the finale of the Coliseum?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Coliseum is like the thing I'm most excited about from this chapter, you know?
I disagree. This is what I'm most excited about.
I just hope the entire arena doesn't boo this.
Boo earns?
I don't know, I'm not actually that excited to see a fight between Pika and Luffy, because Pika's just kind of in the way. At the Coliseum, there's an end point.
No, but I mean, Luffy's going to beat up Pika. I'm curious how.
I think they're just going to get by him. They're going to try and run away from him.
It's also just very cool to like read and look at this plot point, because this was an incredible last page. I was just like, holy shit! It's what Steve said, and they also said.
They totally did.
No, I was. It's really. I'm curious just to see where it goes. I think
you can't really always have that. Ed, you can't really always have that mentality with One Piece. Like, oh, I'm just not going to care about this character because you know
what's going to happen.
They're just going to beat him. I think with like every arc, we know the villains we get beaten.
Yeah, but I'm more excited to see who wins in the Coliseum than what happens at the fight with Pika.
I mean, I could say the same thing. I think Mr. Cravat is like clearly gonna. I think it's gonna win.
I think because it's so certain that we know Luffy's gonna get to Doflamingo, but we totally have no idea who's gonna come out the victor in this Coliseum.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
So I can understand. But I'm still very interested in Pika's powers. I want to know how it works,
and I want to see what's gonna happen with Doflamingo and Luffy. I mean, which is still where this plot point is clearly headed.
And also because I wonder, because if Oda's still kind of following his old format, all right, so we have all these officers, let's pair them up with certain Straw Hats, and of course Luffy's going to fight Doflamingo. Or is it going to just not be the case here?
One point, if Viola has an all-seeing eye, how did she not see this coming?
Well, he did bust out of the wall.
I mean, it's hard to see, but I mean...
Yeah.
That's the problem with having that ability, is you could always say that. It's like, couldn't she have known? Come on. Anyway.
She was distracted, I guess.
What did you guys think of the chapter as a whole?
It's really good.
Very funny.
This was a funny one.
Yeah, I really dug this one. It was very funny, had enough action to satisfy me. Kind of like how Ed said, I'm really invested in the Coliseum now. Which is going back to a year ago when this was kind of getting started. We were we didn't know what to think of it. And I think some of us were murmuring like, "Oh, I really hope this doesn't take up too much of the story arc." But now I totally welcome it. I think
it really hasn't, though. That's why I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah,
I think because we have so many different plot points going on so we could kind of take a break from the Coliseum. So it's not. I don't think it's that draining. And none of you guys mentioned this, so I would like to point out something else I enjoyed about this chapter. Just Doflamingo losing his shit.
Yes, I agree.
That's
That
great.
was
Everything is just going wrong for him, and it's hysterical because he thinks he's the bee's knees. He's so freaking cool. He's
Bees knees.
sorry.
He's got those sunglasses, and he's got the
wearing his sunglasses
and the feather boa.
and his feather jacket and his zebra pants and his, I don't know if he's wearing the zebra pants anymore.
Sunglasses.
But his sunglasses. What does he think he is? A '90s movie poster?
What movie poster are you talking about?
I don't know. Look, I think there's like even today there's a bunch of movie posters. It's just someone kind of wearing sunglasses or looking or kind of like just bringing them down to look at you like, hey, I'm in a movie.
I do want to point out that this chapter we see a lot more of Mr. Cravat. We talked a little bit about his face, but we actually see the fight start on the same page where Doflamingo loses his shit. We see apparently he flies through the air with ease and nimble, and we also get another shot of his face with the scar on that same page. I mean, what do you guys think is Mr. Cravat's powers are, abilities are? How do you think? How have you been enjoying the little hints?
I'm kind of hoping it's kind of like in the same vein as Shanks or possibly Mihawk, maybe in Roger, where he just doesn't have a devil fruit ability. He's just that.
He has
badass.
revolutionary no jutsu.
Well, I think it's clear he doesn't. I think it's clear he doesn't have a devil fruit because he's after. He was saying, we have to carry on the will of Ace, and I. Can carry on the will. Not clear, but I think it's reasonably inferred.
Strongly hinted.
Strongly hinted.
But Luffy has a devil fruit, and he's fighting for the.
No, but
the
I mean,
flame fruit.
I don't know. Yeah, that's true, but I don't think the way Mr. Cravat put it. I think it seems it's more strongly hinted that he doesn't, from the words used. Anyway, any other thoughts on that? Did I kill the conversation there?
The one thing that I wonder, as far as the way that the Coliseum is structured, is like why is the grand prize like part of the arena? Because the idea is you have to be the last one standing, and then you get the prize. But like the whole point of the fruit is, like if you just get it and take a bite of it, then you get the powers, and then the fruit itself is useless. So, like, who's going to stop? If it's just chilling on the back of the one fish, like, who's to stop someone from jumping onto him and getting the fruit out and just taking a bite while the fight is going on?
It's the reason why things like a pink slip on a pole match aren't that exciting in professional wrestling.
Yeah.
The match is, it's a concept, but it's still not that good.
Like, why does he just climb up the ladder really fast?
Yeah.
It's
It's one of those things that you accept.
But then again, it's not like we've ever seen a pink slip on a giant fighting fish that will kill you pole match.
That's true.
Because I think the whole
I guess the point isn't to fight each other; it's to fight the fish and to be.
The whole selling point here is that these fish are the alpha males; they're the most dangerous. But I still think it's kind of it's kind of like pulling one over the contestants. Like, oh yeah, and if you win this tournament, you win the devil fruit. But you just have to win the tournament and then fight fish. It's like Jesus. Like, how many more people do I have to fight?
I mean, I assume it's going to happen concurrently.
I guess that's the best way of securing the devil fruit because Diamante was watching over it while he wasn't participating. Then,
and we also know
to stop someone that's just guarding the fruit. They just get beat up and someone steals the fruit. So I guess this is the best secure way to keep it out of harm's reach.
And let's be honest, Bartolomeo and Lucy. So that's Bartolomeo and Rebecca and Lucy are all kind of on the same side. I mean, if we imply, like if we take a lot of assumptions. So there's only two people who you really don't want it to get in the hands of, and Diamante, I don't think is. I don't know how he's going to factor into it.
Yeah, because at least we know Burgess is going to take it back to Blackbeard, but Diamante, he's just like doing Doflamingo's orders. It's not. He already has a fruit, so it's not like the prize is going to be now you get fire powers too.
Stupid little thing I didn't notice is in the now the final battle begins page. The panel actually is in a diamond around Diamante. It's maybe accidental. Anyway,
No, I don't think so. You got to remember that comics is an art form.
true. And I know Oda's been experimenting, I think, a little more with panel design.
You've been picking up like a lot of things Oda's been trying out with his page layouts recently, Zach. So I give you a lot of credit.
Thank you. I didn't. It's accidental. I just was noticing because I was looking at that page, and I'm like, oh wait, it's a diamond. Any other thoughts? I mean, I really did. This was a great chapter.
Yeah, I think we've had a pretty lengthy conversation.
Oh, but Ed got the best page. I'm so pissed about that.
Both of them.
Yeah. Well, I got a pretty good page. I should.
Well, geez, Zach, and you're so self-centered. Yeah, but Ed had all the best pages.
You didn't know I was self-centered? Anyway, let's go to the next segment.
You do your own podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
This is the anime recap for episode 631, full of enthusiasm, the Corrida Coliseum.
It's emotional.
I feel like this episode had very little. I don't have very many notes for
this.
it.
The recap is getting very annoying. It went to 6 minutes 10 seconds,
And the whole cliffhanger from last time. I don't know, Steve, you're caught up now. The whole cliffhanger was the roulette game.
I've been caught up.
No, you weren't last week.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to watch last week's episode in time, and then
Which is why it was so quiet.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
Oh.
Yeah, the only roulette that is this interesting is Russian.
No, it's true. It was so boring to watch because you know what's going to happen.
Can I comment though?
Yeah.
Since I didn't talk about last week's episode, I like the pacing so far.
I liked last week's episode. Last week's episode was great.
Yeah,
this week's episode had some issues.
This one was obviously slowed down a ton. Definitely.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. But what I liked, because in the manga chapter, it just cut right to them looking over at the table, and that's when they were already, screwing them. Like, they were screwing them. Because then that led right to the scene with Luke saying, oh, no, that's white. I like how they played it out, like, oh, Fujitora is winning.
But that also influences like things like how they showed his attack, and we'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
But
I forget. I don't know if you guys talked about it or not. But did any of you guys think that he was using his powers to win?
Ooh. He seems like an honorable.
Yeah, I don't think he would have done that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, a part of him, he seems honorable, but the part of me thinks he probably thinks this country's fucked up, and he just wants to make some money.
He's got
send the bill for the repairs to them.
He always said white, though. He always went with white.
That's a good point. I never really thought of that. I mean, also, who cares?
Maybe they didn't want to mix it up a bit or something.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Lucky white.
Definitely. Well, we definitely had like an Ennius Lobby length recap.
Yeah.
It was a really long recap, and then we're still watching the spinning.
Which I guess is technically new material, but it's a minute of spinning.
Yeah, and then Luffy wanders over being himself. He gets in the way of petty criminals by accident. And he changes his voice when he's wearing the beard. It's funny. Yeah, I thought this whole beginning scene was just a bunch of ridiculously powerful dudes just playing with really weak people.
Yeah.
Having Luffy and
we've seen this before a lot.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I thought it was fun still.
And then what about him showing his actual power when he finds out what happens?
He's batting at them like so many cat toys. And then I thought they were overdoing it with the ominous music in this scene.
Yes.
Time was they used to have lots of silence in episodes, and I think that they'd be better served going back to that.
I agree.
I did not like it.
I thought the entire scene took a very long time. When he says, it's better for the sake of... I'm sorry, he's like, get out of the way, young man. And he slices them, and then 20 minutes pass, and the power goes into effect.
Yeah, I mean, and they also make his power look super painful, but it also, as opposed to... It seems so much more sudden in the manga, and...
Which is why it was cool in the manga.
It really telegraphs what the power is. We didn't know it for a while in the comic. So... I mean, it really does sell how painful it looks. That's good.
It does.
But-
I think if it were cut in a quarter, like if the whole scene took like a minute, I think it would have been a much more effective scene. But obviously, they're trying to kill time.
So yeah, that's what we get.
That's what we're stuck with.
Yeah. So for the sake of both of us, I'm not going to tell you who I am after I send the bill for the repairs to the Navy, as he says.
He
Yeah.
doesn't say to the Navy. The guy
Well,
is
yeah.
like, you're oh my God, you're him? That
Right.
guy?
Yeah, the guy from the intro.
The guy from the introduction.
Yeah.
I know you. Let's be best friends.
Yeah. So he's got a slide.
Go ahead.
That Fujitora.
Sorry.
So yeah, then the fairies. It's got to be the fairies. This makes so much sense.
Fairies.
Wow, are we doing a Fairly Odd Parents reference?
I think it's well
it's-
deserved.
Yeah,
It's appropriate for the situation. Right
It's
now.
very appropriate. No, that show was good.
Like the
It's after.
They're
Yeah. I mean,
they're the
when I
guardian
watched as a
deities.
kid.
Guardian deities of Dressrosa, and
creepy toy explaining this, right?
Yeah. very
with the
bizarre.
drum.
Yeah, he just had to explain it in this child molester like voice.
Wait, is that a Michael Jackson voice?
No, it was a child molester voice.
Luckily,
I don't know.
people can't sue for defamation after they die.
God.
Continue.
Jesus, Zach.
What? What?
So they run out the window, and then they chase. Sanji chases after him, and Kinemon also does because Zoro's sword is gone. The Shusui, the treasure of the Wano country.
Hey guys,
And-
I invented a drinking game. Take a drink every time Kinemon says "Shusui," treasure of the Wano Kingdom. He says it like 6 freaking times while he's running. He doesn't say anything else. That's just all he says.
He says a very funny thing a little later on. We're gonna get to that.
His face gets really deformed this episode. Also, kind of a side note.
Sanji, and then when Sanji runs, his arms and his legs are both blurred, but nobody else's are. Nobody else's arms are blurred too. It's like he's just flailing about like Kermit the Frog when he runs.
I think that's accurate though, because Sanji was probably really flailing about while doing that.
And then after Kinemon loses him, he says, "I'm not a child, but I'm lost."
Which is that pride thing, clearly, that we have with Kinemon. But it was a good line. I
It's
actually
my
like
life,
that line.
basically.
Yeah. It's a good line. That should be a plaque. I should have that over my desk. I'm not a child, but I'm lost. It's so sad.
Yes. Luffy adopts. You can tell he adopts like a different attitude when he wears the beard.
I
the
love
beard.
it. I love
He's
it.
a lot less hyper than he was, and I like how Frankie and Luffy are like hanging back and like being the rational ones. You know.
Yeah. Well,
not
Frankie
like-
specifically, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I got a plan here. So they go and interrogate the little petty thug.
I love
And,
the interrogation style. It's very cliche, but I love it. That's probably why I love it.
Yeah. But then Luffy like, starts to fantasize about meat, and he has to get back in character.
Yes, that's true. He is acting. That's a good point. I didn't really notice that in the manga.
And then, what did you guys think of the toy soldier's voice?
Good. I thought.
Cool.
Yeah, that's what I expected the voice to sound like. So, it wasn't anything
Like enough that I didn't notice. Like I wasn't thinking about it too much. So yeah, I thought about it when it started, and then I forgot.
And he keeps the children from entering into the Colosseum, and I don't know, to protect their precious sensibilities.
It was great to see him.
Yeah. And hey, there's Gats. I hope you like his voice because
He's going to have the most lines in all of One Piece, is what I read.
I mean, it's a little bland right now, but I'm sure he'll spice it up as it goes along. We haven't got to know him yet.
Now, one of our fans pointed out that the giraffe was indeed in the audience, and I saw it.
I made a note of it too.
Yeah.
There's the giraffe.
Yep.
And finally,
Oh, and there's an old man in the crowd. The same old man who was playing roulette for 40 minutes. Sorry.
but then so they announced the flame fruit.
They called it on Crunchyroll. They called it the flare fruit. I don't know if they corrected that.
That's what Funimation uses. Viz uses flame. Funimation uses flare.
Oh, you see, I just It's been a while since I've watched Ace episodes, like a very long time. So
Yeah.
forgot.
He hasn't been around for some reason.
I forgot why. No, but it really in the anime that's being released right now, he's just gonna come back. He's gonna come back in the next set. So, go on, Neb.
And then
Yes.
leave.
And then leave again for a while.
That raises the stakes and gives a whole sort of side quest for the team to go on, and so not everyone's necessarily working towards the same motive now.
No,
Or
they're
the same.
clearly-
Yeah, so it splits the narrative up, and it raises the stakes early in the story. We're like in the third episode of Dressrosa.
Second, well, the first, third, I guess, kind of.
So yeah, I like the episode. It was
Thoughts?
okay, slow, but
Yeah, it was slow.
still.
I mean, the source material is great for this. That's kind of where I'm a little torn. But the episode did not handle it that well. I'm a little disappointed. So I'm not like, the content is good. It's good content, but I don't think it was handled very well. It's been handled worse. We've definitely seen worse episodes.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
I was disappointed.
I still wasn't that disappointed.
I was a little disappointed. Not like, I wasn't like, oh, this sucked. But it wasn't that great. If I would use Jewish guilt on it. It's like, Toy, I'm a little disappointed in you for that. Like, you could do better. I know you could do better. Come on. Maybe that's what Toy needs, a little Jewish guilt. They could have Frankie, since he's a Hasidic. Anyway, any other thoughts? Okay.
I guess that's it for the episode.
I guess we'll go into the next segment. Ready, guys?
All right.
For you, the listeners of the One Piece podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. So remember, just go to audibletrial.com/onepiece. We're going to recommend some books that we've read or would like to listen to or have listened to. Ed, let's start with you.
Indeed, I will recommend both of Stephen Colbert's books. First, America Again, Rebecoming the Greatness We Never Weren't, and I Am America and So Can You. Stephen Colbert is a treasure of American comedy, and you should listen to his books.
And he is a 2-time Grammy winner for both of those books.
That's right.
2-time. And did you see his Super Bowl commercials?
Yes,
were
the
interesting.
pistachio ones. Yeah, they were good.
Like the first one had no shtick, and I was like, "What's going?"
Well, the whole point we saw a trend this year of
2-part commercials.
2-part commercials. Yeah,
It's interesting. Yeah, it was surrounding David Beckham. Anyway, I think I would recommend The Count of Monte Cristo because such a fun, amazing story, and it's a very long story. So if you need something to listen to, that's a great example of one. If you don't have the time to read I think that's like 1,000-something page book, you could listen to it like you do our podcast on audible.com. Steve, do you have a book or no?
no,
Doc, do you have a book?
Tough Shit by Kevin Smith.
Nice.
Really good series. Kind of talks about his most of his it's semi-autobiographical about at least his current state and what his career is now right now, which is basically just podcasting.
It's a good place to be.
Oh yeah, sure, and also very, very high.
All the time.
Sorry,
All the
Steve.
time.
Sorry, Steve, for cutting you off or not asking.
no. Apologize for putting me on the spot in the first place.
Sorry, Steve.
I was searching frantically.
Steve will read more next week. Let's get on with the show. You ready?
All right. This is the Toonami recap for episode 239. The Straw Hat Pirates are the culprits, the protectors of the City of Water. That is a very long title.
It is.
But first, we have some ratings news. Steve?
Yes, last week One Piece got 955,000 views.
It's a big improvement.
Yeah, I think it was it's been 800,000 over the last last
Since the
month.
new year.
Yeah.
We weren't on in December, so.
I really want to see it crack that million mark again because Shippuden is way ahead of it. And then again, Shippuden did better than Bleach too.
I did it, yeah.
Yeah, I want to see One Piece get back to that, but I don't know. Maybe it takes like a final fight for people really to get hooked.
It might just be like what night they're available to watch, because usually when One Piece does better, all of Toonami's doing better, you know? Like, it might just be the whole block. It got a 0.7, which is also much better than it's been getting, so it's a market...
Well, it's one better. We've been getting
Right.
0.6, so...
But I think each, 0.1 is a huge difference. Like, I think it's a much bigger difference than we would let on. Like, Space Dandy cracked 1.0 last week. That was huge.
Yeah, but it literally could not improve less.
That's also accurate, yes. If you want to look at it that way, yes, Ed. That's true. Trending-wise, One Piece got number 4 in the U.S., and it did not trend worldwide. It trended mobile at number 6. The worldwide trends haven't been catching as much as they were. They were catching like every week for a very long time, so I don't know what's happening there. But remember to hashtag One Piece Saturday nights, 1 a.m. Eastern. If you're watching, if you're not watching, you should be watching. Ed, what
Funimation.
happened? Thank you. You should be watching. Ed, what happened in this episode?
Well, in this episode, we're in the era of the cold opening now, so it makes it harder to skip the recaps. And most of the beginning of the episode is just a lot of people standing around and accusing people instead of fighting over it like civilized people.
I like cold opens. I thought that made One Piece feel a lot different. And
This is the only time they really do it.
They do it through until
Water 7 and
Crazy Rainbow until Crazy
Rainbow. I think it's what do you guys feel about it? Like, are you for it, or do you enjoy the more classic format of opening than the show?
No, I'm
for it. I'm completely for it. I think this is when I was like the most excited for One Piece.
Me too.
Yep.
Yeah, I think because it really, I really like if an opening can really build up the suspense and then boom, music to kind of
I'd love
amp
that.
you up.
Yeah. Well, that's what they do in the United States more. I mean, that's almost always what you do.
The United States, we don't even have opening songs anymore. It's just like
CSI Miami. CSI Miami is a perfect example of cold open.
That was years ago. That was, I mean, I'm saying with a full song.
You're right. It's less common.
Sorry, don't stone me for making another wrestling reference, but I feel like the length of an American show opening theme these days is the equivalent of that sound effect that happens when the Wyatt family shows up. Just
you have me outnumbered. You have me outnumbered 3-1 here, Steve.
We do. We are the Wyatt family tonight.
Yeah.
Not winning.
Follow
this.
the buzzards.
Yes.
No idea what's going on.
Follow the buzzards, Zach. Follow the buzzards.
Oh my god, I'm just gone.
Somebody.
I'm leaving.
One Piece fans, podcast listeners, I encourage you to tweet Zach. Follow the buzzards.
Hashtag follow the buzzards.
Oh Jesus.
And then people start throwing knives, and I'm liking this. It's better. But yeah, man, Luffy is not doing well in this episode. Luffy is coming apart, man. And he can't do anything about it because the shipwrights kick his ass, and all he can do is like scream and like fight against them. That's all he can really do. So, man, there was a lot of bad art in this episode.
Oh yeah, it was
so bad. Tilestone's torso is all messed up. Like, he looks like a weird trapezoid, a little bit. He doesn't even have like defined abs or like muscles or anything. It just looked bad. And then when they figure out who Nami is after they've been yelling about like accusing people of shooting Iceberg for a while, and Nami is in disbelief, and the guy recognizes her in the crowd, and when he like restrains her waist gets impossibly tiny. It's everyone is like super tall and super lanky in this episode, and it's throwing me off. And the characters seem uncharacteristically ugly. Not that they're poorly drawn, they just seem uglier in this episode. I don't know why.
Off model.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. They seem off. I don't know. So we were in for another low budget episode here. I mean, some of the fighting stuff, some of the action with Polly and the shipwrights fighting against Luffy, that wasn't terrible. Although it was stretched out to waste time.
Well, you think this is kind of like mimicking the movie 6 animation? Oh, you think less detail? You think better, like more fluid animation.
Yeah.
But they don't do enough of the actual fluid animation in this episode to justify it. Like
I feel like
that was like the
there,
one
there was
place.
a bit of it. That's it. Like with
But I
Luffy
feel-
running around.
Yeah, I feel as if when it comes to the anime, that's never the case. It's just less detailed art, stoic movement.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still so upset that Toei doesn't like put more money into One Piece because the story's so great, and the animation's often, especially starting around this point, very lackluster. Yeah, sometimes it's not, but a lot of the times it is.
I think this is the only time we actually see Polly wearing his goggles.
That's possible. Yeah.
Yeah, as he continues to fight against Luffy, and they actually do work pretty well as a team. You know, like Kaku is like following up other guys. Like someone knocks him to the ground, and someone throws shit at him, and someone hits him. They look pretty good, and then
They're the shipwrights, man.
They nail him to the wall and shoot him with a giant cannon. He still doesn't die, but Frankie came prepared. He has his tea table and his teapot, and
I love that scene. Yeah.
and this is like Frankie up to this point has been a total dick. People are starting to like Frankie, I think, starting around this episode because of how just funny he is and like how wacky and stuff, like the random shit that he does.
It's out of a Looney Tunes episode at this point.
Yeah, but then he's like upset that because he wants to fight Luffy, so he flips the tea table over. It's and also I mean sometimes you just have to flip a table, and the way they animated the wind in this episode, I thought was actually kind of nice. I like they gave like physical representation to the air, like pretty thick, and it made it look very powerful when he was like. It also did take him a long time to power up his coup de vent. Mm-hmm. It kind of wore on for a while, but the power of the shot just sort of it really had an effect. So it looked really powerful. And Nami was at that point. Nami is sure that he is a cyborg, even though he just like breathed fire at you, like an episode ago. And I run away because Frankie took down that whole giant the crane in the shipyard. He blew it completely apart with his coup de vent, and we see later that his hair is completely down. He is not super anymore, But yeah, so I think that sort of takes us up to the first half of the episode. In the second half of the episode, so we see Sanji and Chopper, who care so much that it hurts. They're planning out their little cute little speech, and then they go up and do it, and they're like chewing each other's faces off because they're so close to each other. It's freaking adorable. And I never understood how Usopp didn't realize who that was. Because he seems to genuinely not know. I'm like, Chopper has a pretty distinctive voice. So, I don't know.
If you're around him for so long, you'd figure you'd recognize it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, maybe it's not so much that, they're faint enough where he could hear what they were saying, but not enough to distinguish their voice. Yeah. Cartoon logic, I don't know.
And maybe his ears were off model, so he probably didn't hear it correctly.
And then we go back to the Luffy and Nami story, and they're hiding on top of a building, and they can see the front of the Galila house. And Nami's like, "Okay, we need to have a plan." And Luffy's like, "All right, I'm gonna jump in through the front window." Classic Luffy right there, vintage Luffy. And then it's time for Scooby-Doo Luffy Galila edition, as he's running around the mansion, and we see Khalifa talking to Iceberg, and he's like, I have a plan. And so then the next time we see Luffy after he runs around for a little bit, Khalifa comes to him and is like, "Come in here. I think we can work something out. And maybe we'll get some answers." I'm thinking, maybe it's a little late in the episode, but it would pay off this rather slow episode if we were to get some answers about any of this. But all he asked for is to guarantee that Iceberg will talk to Nico Robin again. And then we get a scene of Robin sitting there reading the newspaper and listening to the people on the street talk about the Straw Hats. And that's it. This was a bit of a disappointing episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we're kind of ramping up to something bigger, which is pretty.
Yeah, cool. I mean, not a lot happened this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, these things happen sometimes. The last 4 weeks have been really good. I think ever since they came back from hiatus from the movies. But this episode just wasn't as strong.
If it makes you feel better, first off, Ed was very nice, and he took over live tweeting for this episode because my work has been at ridiculous hours every day of the week, basically. And Ed, you actually trended One Piece this week.
I did.
Yeah. So congrats. Woo. That's pretty big. That's pretty big. I really love this arc. So even the worst episode of this arc, it's still not terrible. If you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
You might want to go back and give this just a watch quick. You don't even own these on DVD, do you?
I'm buying them, but
I thought you were waiting for the collections on these.
I am. That's when I'm going to be buying them. I mean, I pre-ordered. Okay. But the only reason I don't have them, for those who don't know, is because I was studying during for the bar when these were coming out.
Right.
Yeah.
That is kind of important.
Yeah, so I've been a little behind. I mean, I've seen this episode before. I know what you're talking about with the wacky animation. It's the one where Luffy's jumping the roofs, and he looks all swanky in a lot of the parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember this episode. It's a weird one. It is a slow one, but
yeah, I mean, all the I don't know. Did we even see Zoro at all this episode?
We haven't seen Zoro in a while because he's been sleeping on the roof.
Yeah.
If you recall, he's been sleeping most of this arc.
We barely saw Sanji and Chopper. Just in that one tiny little scene.
Last episode,
it's just that like we were with Luffy and Nami for so much of this episode, and it just seems like they were in the courtyard or they were in the dock, and then they escaped, and now they crashed into the house. It's most of what happened.
Yeah,
but there were the little character moments, especially with Frankie. I thought were really good. But yeah, that's about it.
Luffy's really crashing into a lot this week.
True.
Anyway, want to get to the next segment?
Okay.
Let's crash right into that one.
This is the Piece Together segment where we take your questions, comments, and theories, and we then try and understand what you're saying and then formulate some sort of answer and response. That was a bad one. I'm sorry.
Boop, Zach is a robot.
I should have gone with a theme if only I thought it through a second before I said it. Anyway, let's start with emails. That sounds good, right? Why
yes.
Not? Yeah, sure. Yeah. We have one. I don't know where you guys are. Come on. Maybe people put in the wrong subject header. Remember, it has to be pieced together. Otherwise, I can't find it because I get a ton of One Piece podcast, junk mail, email, whatever it is. Anyway, first one comes from Gary. What is your opinion of Sanji's combat strength? Listening to you guys talk about the new opening, I was wondering why you all thought it was reasonable to say Zoro could take on Fujitora, but unreasonable for Sanji to handle Kizaru. Overall, I think Oda keeps Sanji in the same league as Zoro and Luffy in terms of strength. Sanji has just had a tougher round of opponents to fight. He goes on, but I think that gets the gist of the question.
Allow me to answer.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Steven, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I think the perception that Sanji is not quite as tough probably has a lot to do with the fact that he is so often portrayed in a ridiculous way, when they're not basically showing down with the biggest, baddest guys, because Oda is very upfront with like sort of making fun of Sanji with his women problems and stuff like that, which I think just sort of contributes to the general image of him maybe not being as serious as Zoro.
Any other
good point?
Yeah.
Steve.
Oh no! Now I forgot what I was going to say.
Like, I can handle this.
I can handle this. Steven's like, oh, I'm going to say this. All right, nigga, Steve. I have completely forgot what I was going to say. No, I'm trying to remember here.
It's about Sanji.
Yes, it was about him fighting Kizaru.
Sanji is
cool. What exactly was the question again? I feel like maybe...
Okay, we're going to the next one. If you remember... I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here waiting for you to figure out what you want to say.
I can.
Okay, you think about it while I ask the next one. Sorry, but we got to move on. Ogbemi says, this is not really a question, more like a clarification. There's a lot of speculation about what Mr. Cravat's face would look like. He said the name, and he said everyone knows who it is. But come on, we don't know. Could be anyone. I think it's clear that Mr. Cravat's face would be the exact same as shown in the cover page with Luffy, Ace, and Sabo as adults, only with one of his eyes scarred or possibly closed. Most likely scarred because I feel we've had enough characters with closed eyes for now.
But we still really didn't see much of his face.
And we don't really know it's Sabo. I mean, it could be anyone.
Oh, shut up.
I want it to be an actual guy named Lucy who just joined the fight. And then Sabo just walks right in the crowd. Is like, hey, what's going on over here?
We turn out
it's like Sanji and Duval. He's like, you stole my name.
Exactly.
No, it's the gravekeeper for where Whitebeard and Ace are buried.
That makes no sense.
I do have an answer now to the Sanji thing earlier.
Okay, go.
Well, first thing I'll say is I don't think Sanji has had tougher fights than Zoro because Sanji didn't lose a shit ton of blood.
Well, that's
gallons
one time.
and gallons of
Although
blood.
that's also every time.
And they also gave the impression that Zoro was stronger when he took all that stuff from Kuma.
Yeah. Right. I just think the problem is, and it really relates to what Steven said, and I'm glad he said it, is Sanji really hasn't been shown in that kind of light as of late. It's more of a comedy situation. Even in Fishman Island, he had everyone had a comedy fight, but his, he did one kick and that was about it.
I think he's on a footing to be a little more serious now. I mean, I don't think we're going to see him for a little while as he goes on his little adventure to Zoe. But I think there's a lot more potential to see more of the old Sanji.
Because now he's responsible for him now. So.
He's Captain Twirly Brow.
Yeah,
right? That's it. When he comes back, I hope to name the episode about it Captain Twirly Brow and his something. I don't know. That might be a while.
He's been gone for a while now.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on Sanji or the scar over Mr. Cravat's eye? No? Okay, then Ed, why don't we get into our favorite segment?
Zach, it's time for Peace the Tweet. Yeah.
It's 304 times you've done that now, Ed. No, not quite.
Probably not. Not until was that 5 minutes to Conan?
Yeah. Oh, really? That late? Okay.
I don't know.
Probably less than 300 then. So, Ed, do you want to start us off?
Sure. First question comes from Jeffrey Andino, who asks, hey there, just wondering what you guys think. Who gonna fight who in the next round of the tournament? Well, the joke is on us, I guess, but this is the last fight. There aren't any more fights in the tournament.
Yeah. I think
so. I guess who do you think's gonna win?
I'm putting my eggs in the Mr. Cravat basket.
Yeah, that's my.
You
guess.
think he's actually going to win clean,
Yes.
outright?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if Burgess gets the fruit, that brings Blackbeard back.
If things don't just completely go nuts and everything gets wrecked.
I'm calling for Blackbeard makes a surprise return and costs Mr. Cravat the match.
Yes. Swerve.
Blackbeard's music is playing.
So he throws him through the steel cage.
Son of a bitch!
Next question comes from what? Do you like what? Do you like that they didn't translate Haki in the English dub of the anime?
Well, General Septum, if I may address you. No, I don't mind using the term hockey, and I know that myself, Ed, and Dude are part of the team. We're kind of part of Team Translate Everything.
I think yes.
But that word isn't really. That's like saying translating Kamehameha. It's like it's a thing that exists.
What are you from the ocean, Zach?
Well, no, that's what. Never mind. Go ahead.
Well, Steven.
It is.
What is exactly to translate to?
It is a word, like a regular word, dictionary word, and a lot of time it translates to ambition. Although that's not really a direct translation. It's more like, in fact, if I had the choice to do it, and I didn't have to worry about being the one lone dissenter against everyone else using the same a different term. I would have gone with presence, because that's sort of what it's like. It's like when you say that someone has haki, it's sort of like they're kind of imposing their will on everyone else, like they are their presence demands attention, sort of thing. And that is kind of the Japanese version. But in terms of like how it's actually presented in the One Piece world, I don't really have a problem with calling it haki, because that's basically what it is. It's basically magic powers. That's what it is. So I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem using
the Force.
Right, exactly. I don't have a problem using a made up.
Haki. Well, that's
English a made up term.
Haki. Well, that's just ambition. Look, if you're not gonna take this seriously, I'm just gonna go home.
Okay.
No. I do think, since themes of ambition are so, they're so frequent throughout One Piece. Like, Luffy is a very ambitious character. All the Straw Hats are. That would get confusing. Oh, that's his ambition. Oh, you mean his will to be king of the pirates? No, I'm talking about his magic.
Right.
So I really don't mind that haki is used in the English version. I don't. It's identifiable. It's easier to not get confused.
I agree with Steve. Yeah.
Except when we use the term,
It'd be like not translating Kaioken. That's more like what it's like.
Yeah, we're getting into shonen terms at this point. Like, we're getting into, this is a cartoon, this is a comic, kind of like idea that we have to we have to accept this now.
Unlike Nakama, which actually is just
that's just stupid.
Yeah, that makes no sense. It's the magic of friendship.
Yeah.
The magic of friendship.
Next question comes from Milos, the creator, who asks, what role do you think Vegapunk might play later on in the story? Antagonist? Anti-hero? Great work. Keep it up, he says.
Ooh, that's a good question. I like posing it like that. Anti-hero, he might be an anti-hero antagonist. Like, I guess you could kind of be both.
When I think of Vegapunk, I think very gray.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most villains in One Piece, aside from some of the ones we're seeing now, a lot of them are gray.
No, a lot of them are black. I think only just right before the time skip we were starting to be introduced to gray characters, but most of the villains have been pretty black. Sorry, Zach, didn't mean to.
No, I don't. I mean, I could name people, but I'm not going to get into a whole.
But no, I feel like one of the things to remember with Vegapunk was how, he's working for the Marines, he's making the pacifistas, but he granted Kuma that wish to program him to defend the Sunny while the Straw Hats were away. I feel like Vegapunk wouldn't do that if he was evil or totally for annihilating the Straw Hats. So there's something up there.
He's sort of like a stand-in for just the general idea of science as a whole. It's like it just depends on how it's utilized. Like, some of the things he's credited towards doing in the world of One Piece are like great advancements, and then some of them are being used to evil ends. He's not he has not really been cast as like being the primary force behind their application in any case. He's just sort of doing what he does, and we still don't really know that he is necessarily a good or a bad character. And part of me is almost a little afraid of when he shows up, because I feel like Oda is at his most interesting when things are kind of ambiguous and your imagination can run wild. And a lot of times, when it actually comes time to tell a story and fit it into an arc, they kind of get simplified a little bit, because he needs to make it clear who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, and stuff like that. So I really hope that he can find a way to bring him into the story directly without necessarily having to be like an antagonist or a hero, where it's like, oh, it turns out he's just a good guy after all. Because I think he's much more interesting as this very ambiguous figure.
Next question comes from Sai-chan. If you could have a cool-looking scar on or around your eye, what would it look like, and how did you get it? Steve.
Damn it.
I hear you chuckling.
What would it look like? Well, it's kind of, you can't really get too creative here.
Don't strain yourself.
Maybe like in some sort of like Z or lightning bolt shape. And I want it after I got into a life and death battle with a hippopotamus.
Okay.
Perfect answer. Steven?
You could have like just a big circle around your eye, like the dog from Little Rascals. That's cool, right?
Yes. And how did you get it?
Oh man, like punched in the face with one of those like extendable boxing gloves.
Yes.
With the handles.
You were in a fight of Rock'em Sock'em robots. I get it.
Yeah.
They have like
It was in a Mickey Mouse cartoon.
Doctor?
I'd have pretty simple scar like across my nose, just a straight line through there, and I got it through an unfortunate pudding accident.
That sounds reasonable. Ed?
I want to have those scars. Like, has anyone ever seen the movie Ichi the Killer?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Where the
God,
guy
the
has
mouth?
like the
split
scar,
mouth?
like the split mouth thing,
Ooh.
and I got it in an unfortunate putting accident,
Oh, my God.
a boking accident.
Ed? Go ahead.
Okay. The next question comes from Gurren Star, who asks, Sanji could be able to go up against Big Mom with his attack cuisine, but also see her showing interest in stealing him, though. Really?
I'm thinking of Toriko.
I don't know. I'm stuck on that last part.
Yeah, I don't quite understand the last part, but I guess he would feed her to death, which seems...
She doesn't seem like
Yeah, I
she doesn't
know.
seem like she can move, you know? Seems like she can't move. I'm just saying. She hasn't done much moving.
we could probably go
As
to the
far as
next
we
question,
know.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, James Solomon asks, do you think Sabo's full reveal will be after he gets the flame fruit and burns off his disguise?
Ooh, I like that.
cinematic.
That is cinematic.
That would be pretty cool. I mean, it's a justified reason for Oda to hide his face for so long.
I mean, let's be honest. I think he's trying to hide his face because he's a revolutionary and he doesn't want to bring attention to that. Like, it's a little weird. He may be well-renowned. Who knows? I don't know. If he is well-renowned, Luffy needs to read more newspapers. Should be really just a lesson for his life.
Yeah, I mean, I think he also has an excuse in that, you know, obviously there are a lot of pretty important people hanging around Dressrosa. There's a lot of attention being poured into it that, you know, even if he doesn't normally have to hide his identity, he would want to in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ed?
All right. Next question comes from Bart the Terrible, who asks, if Obama was in One Piece, who would he be? And I say he would be Kuzan.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Not just for the obvious reason.
That's a better answer than mine.
What were you going to say?
Obama.
You're just... Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I think that fits. Statesman-like.
Kuzan kind of fits Obama's personality to a certain extent, too.
Yeah.
Like,
he's,
well,
Chill.
Kuzan used to get very angry all the time before he became an admiral. We see that in the O'Hara flashback, but I don't know. It's like Obama always keeps his cool, so I could see the resemblance between the two.
cool.
And now I want to. Now I want to see Kuzan make Obama speeches. I want to hear that audio over that character.
Is
Gonna
anyone
use
going to do
my-
that impression?
We're not going to try.
No, it's probably a bad idea. Ed, what's next?
Next question is from Knight Alboardi, who asks, Sugar is always eating these sweets, so what if she is in an all-time sugar high, keeping her awake to preserve the toys?
I actually kind of like that idea.
That's cute.
Yeah. It's cromulent. I stole it from you.
Yeah,
Ed.
exactly.
I stole it. Yes, but it's cromulent.
Anyone else? No? Okay.
It may embiggen her ability to stay awake.
Stop saying that.
Yeah. Got it.
Got him.
One Piece at a Time asks, which person would you like Oda to base a character on in the future? Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, we've gotten a lot this chapter. What did we get? We got Steve Tyler as Diamante. Who did we didn't really talk about during the manga recap as Treble Steve.
What was that?
Who Treble was based off of.
No, you're talking about Pika.
Pika. What am I saying? Yeah, okay, that was my fault. We didn't really talk about that in the manga, did we?
Greg said the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal.
Yeah, the spiky
Football
shoulder pads. Yeah.
The Ultimate
And
Warrior.
actually, and when they were LOD 2000, they wore the helmets and they wore all the full pads all the way like down to their ankles.
But no one wants to remember LOD 2000.
Maybe Yoda does.
Also, the Ultimate Warrior and a picture of CeeLo Green wearing Legion of Doom shoulder pads.
All right.
No.
Which I kind of purposely give Greg shit for. I'm like, there's no way.
So those are all out of the question. So who else do you want to see?
I'll be honest here. I'm not a fan of their music, really. Nothing against them. I'm just not really interested. But they're such a outlandish character in real life. It's almost like they're a One Piece character, and that's Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah, I
that
could
would
see
be
that.
interesting in the One Piece world.
I want to see a more outrageous female character like that. I think it'd be pretty cool. And I think being a fan.
We could get Gem. She's outrageous.
Truly.
Truly.
Really outrageous.
Outrageous.
Oh my God. Steve, what were you saying? Sorry.
Gem is her name. No. I think just being a fan of One Piece and really just cartoons and comics in general, I don't hate on people that are just totally outlandish. People like, well, you're an idiot. What are they wearing? I'm like, no, we need more people like that in real life because real life is boring.
Yeah, that's true.
We need more crazy One Piece characters in our lives.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of someone else in the real world. I mean, we did Obama already.
So it could be like the manga Air Gear, which I've translated professionally, where Obama is like directly in it. He's like President Omaha, and his mind gets switched with a 16-year-old Japanese girl.
Oh my God, are you serious? That exists?
Yes.
It's about rollerblading. Come on.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, do you remember that ridiculous anime about mahjong that we saw at AWA?
Oh, wait. Yeah, I was there too.
I think it was like
right.
Bush and like playing Kim Jong Il.
Yeah. That's
that.
I don't know if I was there. I
don't think I was there. That doesn't sound familiar to me at all.
Yeah.
I guess I went to some random panels at AWA.
I think you did. Yeah.
All right.
Sounds great though.
Now I'm trying to think of Theodore Roosevelt.
Sure.
Really?
I'm obsessed with Theodore Roosevelt, and I think he would actually be very funny in the One Piece world.
Buller.
Okay.
Put Teddy Roosevelt in One Piece because we've introduced to Kaido, who apparently has an army of Zoan type users. Then bring in Teddy Roosevelt to hunt them all.
I love it. Or you could make Teddy Roosevelt into an actual bear, a teddy bear, which is what that's actually named after. And just have Kaido with the monocle and the mustache. I mean, I could get with that. I don't think it's going to happen, but
the Legend of Koizumi. That was the name of the mahjong series because it stars Junichiro Koizumi.
Okay, I have to watch that.
So ridiculous
because I love Koizumi.
Watch the episode
You will
with
love this.
Yeah,
I wrote
watch
a
the
whole
episode with
paper.
Kim Jong Il and Kim Jong Un.
In college, I wrote this paper on Koizumi. I took Japanese politics, and he is hilarious in every way. He's a huge Elvis fan. For those who didn't know, he went to Graceland with George Bush when he visited the United States one time. What's next, Ed? For those who were curious.
All right. T. Reed asks, which of the One Piece sports specials do you prefer, baseball or soccer?
Okay. This is really tough.
Yeah, it is.
And I totally forgot about this question because I watched the baseball one again, but haven't really seen the soccer one in a long time.
Is this because we were talking about it a couple weeks ago?
I don't remember us talking about it.
Yeah, I don't think we did.
I've kind of forgotten about it until
We were talking about watching the old movies again.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it came up. I mean, we talk for like 3 hours every week about this show.
But first, one thing I'd like to talk about these two sports specials is that they are freaking awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
they are just the animation. Both of them are really good, and they definitely depict the time in which they came out. Like the soccer one, it totally just reeks of Little Garden in Drummark, and the baseball one totally reeks of like Skypiea.
And it's also inspired by they just had the World Cup, I think, in Japan. They also really love baseballs.
I hope to see an Olympic one in the future. I want to see that.
It's so tough for me to choose. I guess you guys aren't really familiar with them. It's been a while, but they both look completely different from each other. Like, well, one of them takes place during the day, one of them takes place at night. Like the animation's great. They bring back a bunch of.
Well, Oda was in the soccer one.
Oda is in the soccer one. That kind of that's an advantage right there. I personally.
But didn't Buggy do every voice in the baseball one?
Yeah, in the baseball one,
I like that.
The Straw Hats never spoke. It was Buggy and Bone Clay.
Bone Clay the whole time, right?
But the baseball one also had them going against the Arlong Pirates, which was really cool. And of course, I love the Arlong guys. That's one of my favorite.
I'm more of a baseball fan, so I'm
more of a baseball fan too. I don't know. Like the soccer one also has Sanji's amazing as hell kick around the world.
That's true.
And it does have Oda in it.
And Oda's in it. That's true. I don't know. I'm still going to go with baseball because I love the fact that Buggy and Bon Clay voiced everyone. Plus, I like baseball. Plus, it had the Arlong Pirates. Plus, it was funny in general. I thought it was very well done. That's not to disparage the soccer one. I just think if I had to sit down and watch one, I think I would probably choose the baseball.
Unfortunately, I can't really make a decision.
Can't decide. Just watch Dance Carnival again.
Yeah, that seems appropriate.
That beats both of them.
That's one thing I do miss with the movies is then again the movies used to be a lot shorter. It was getting these shorts, but then again, I think I think two of these were attached to movie 4 and 5. I think that was I think the sports one was attached to movie 3. I don't think movie 4 had a short. And I think the baseball one was attached to movie 5. I could be wrong. I don't know off the top of my head, but I miss seeing these. It's kind of like with Pixar movies. One of the things you look forward to every year when going to see a Pixar movie is you get a short too. And I miss that. But
Soccer King was on movie 3. Baseball was on movie 5. Yeah,
there you go.
That was right. But they're both hella awesome. If you haven't seen them, I'd recommend looking them up. We don't have them officially.
All right. Well, the next question. Yeah, the next question comes from Gwen Montesinos, who asks, "Do you think Luffy will meet past characters he promised to see and visit again from pre-skip to post-skip?"
Yes.
That's one thing I always wonder. I mean, I thought about it recently because you hear it a lot in every anime you watch, and you hear it a lot in filler. Visit us again. I will. And it's like, no, he won't.
And he was never
better
seen
not.
him again.
But I think this question, it raises another question: is what's going to happen? Because I know they're going to find the One Piece. If they don't, that's the biggest swerve in history. But I was thinking, like, is what's going to happen to the Straw Hats? Is it going to be the same thing that happened with Roger's crew? That they split up, because you think because Usopp made a promise to come back, to his town and tell Kaya all the stories of his adventures. What does that mean? It's not like the Straw Hats are going to make pit stops for everybody. I have this feeling that the Straw Hats are going to separate and they're going to go their separate ways after this is all
eventually
done. Yeah,
That sounds
which to me is kind of sad, but I guess you kind of it's an interesting take, but. I that's the thing though with some of the people, it's on the Grand Line. Does that mean they're gonna go on the Grand Line again and all right, let's go through all this treacherous shit again and just to say hello?
I mean, I think we'll get a recap of everyone at the end.
Yeah, I don't think that they will actually show them going. It's not like they're okay. Let's rewind and go through all of the arcs again and see all these people again. But I think that he'll definitely he'll have some kind of sort of long form montage of sorts where maybe not necessarily directly interacting with the Straw Hats, but we'll see them again.
Just have people murmuring in the side and to be like, "Hey, is that the greatest swordsman that's ever lived?" and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Yep.
What's next?
Next question is from Dennis, who asks, Mr. Cravat's new scar is hilariously drawn. If you had to have a visible One Piece scar, which one would it be?
Well, I guess we could go beyond the eye now.
I'm going to go with Zoro's ankle scars. It's only you only show that off during the summer.
Well, everyone knows that a scar on a man's back is a swordsman's shame, so it has to be the one across the chest. But no, I actually wouldn't want that. That doesn't sound fun at all.
I'll go with the magic marker one.
Yes, good answer. Good answer, Steve.
The answer is any visible One Piece scar. I don't know. Like, it always seems like the face scar over the eye is really cool, but
Fujitori's is pretty cool. Now that I think about it, although he's also blind.
Shanks has a really cool scar.
I don't
That's
think I'd
true.
want any of them, but I mean, if I had to choose, yeah.
I don't know.
You don't want a facial scar. Come on.
It'd probably either be, I don't know if I would want to go with 3 lines like Shanks or just go with the one like Zoro. But Luffy's scar is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And they do
Any other?
They do
Doc,
say
did you say?
scar's better than a nub.
I don't know. That's a weird one. I mean, to be honest, like I really like Luffy's like chest scar. It looks pretty. I don't know. Just like, but the thing is, like, luckily I always have like a shirt on, so no one will be able to see it unless I go out.
And then you'll be like, "Look at this magma
Check it
scar."
out, and all of this chub. Penis.
Okay, the next question comes from Ryan, who asks, across the entire series, how many punches do you think Luffy has thrown?
A lot.
A billion.
11 million.
Google. That's an answer. People
It's
forget
also-
that that's a number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not spelled
It's
the
not
way
spelled
you
the
think.
same. Yeah.
No, I know, but I know it. Googleplex. Do you want to go with that?
Sure.
I don't think that many because the entire series would have just been punches. Although, do we count each part of the Gatling gun? Like,
Sure, why not?
How do you define
definitely. I don't know how you define that.
The next question comes from Tom Vu, who asks, if Zoro was to fight Law, do you think Zoro could win that fight with their current strength right now?
That would be an interesting fight to watch because Law's
Right
ability-
now, while Law is knocked out,
Yeah, Zoro would win.
Fun fight.
I don't know, I think Law knows his devil fruit power way too well. Give him an
yeah,
advantage.
that's a tough one to say.
I think Zoro probably would win that, but I think it would be an interesting fight to watch. I don't think it would be close. Yeah,
I mean, I'm positive that Zoro is better at the sword than
Yes.
anything that Law can do, but Law has crazy powers. So
and he could use that sword for that power, so it would be interesting. Yeah. That Zoro though, I would go with.
And Ichiban Kenshin asks, Mr. Cravat has a scar under his sunglasses on his right eye. Eye patch, perhaps? What do you guys think? I think we've given our opinion.
I think it's a scar.
any other
Given our
scar-related topics?
I can't believe how many people asked about scars, but not like they haven't. That was the first question about Mr. Cravat's scar. Everyone else has just been talking about what's your favorite type of scar.
Hashtag scar. My favorite scar is from Lion King.
And finally, Liam Tasker asks, when Luffy defeats an emperor, will he become an emperor?
Yes.
To be the man, you have to beat the man. Yeah, that would be a very good argument. Because it's all everything that happens, it seems like he's going to get credit for it as opposed to Law. That's just how Luffy's life goes.
Sometimes he doesn't get credit for things, like a lot of the time. Like Crocodile, but he got the bounty for it, so that's kind of weird.
Yeah. And he's basically he's the quarterback of the team. He's the guy that everyone points the finger to when they lose.
I think that's everything. So why don't we round off the podcast? You guys ready?
Okie dokie.
This has been episode 304 of the unofficial One Piece podcast. It has been the week of Monday, February 3rd, 2014. Good show today. We had manga recap, anime recap, Toonami recap, news, a lot of pieced together. Not a lot of emails, but apparently everyone tweeted us. So that works. And only about scars. So, I mean, at least we got a good amount of this. Thank you, everyone, for your questions. We'll go through ways you could leave your piece together. Don't forget you could leave a message, though. I know we say it at the end, and we do a whole shtick with it. But if you want to be on the podcast, that's the best way to do it. Just leave us a message at our phone number. We'll say the phone number a little later, and we'll play it. Again, as a reminder, check out OnePiecePodcast.com every day because we are posting new news. William has been posting interest articles. We had one about Volume 0, and one about the One Piece timeline exhibit. I think they had it at Jump Festa. He's also going to be posting the Kappa Yamaguchi interview with Greg. The two of them got to sit down. That's still incredible, so he's going to be posting information about that. And don't forget, Laura also has editorials on the site about the latest chapter, so that's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure to check it out every day if you aren't already. Anything else happening that we need to mention that I'm forgetting?
One Piece Podcast goes to Japan coming this March.
Yes. Jose is hard at work. He is on hiatus from his own podcast. He's missing interviews. They have Monica Rial this week on ToonamiFaithful.com. Looking forward to that. Sketch is hosting the podcast now. If you are a very long-time listener of the One Piece Podcast, you'll recognize that name.
And if OPP Japan does not come out in March, then the rain date is Smarch.
Thank you for the Simpsons
Lousy
reference.
March weather.
I'm glad we got at least one of those in. Steven, where can people find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Translatosaurus. That's about it. I'm not doing a lot of tweeting these days. I'm just super busy with stuff, but every once in a while. Mm-hmm.
But thank you so much again, for Stephen, for coming on, bringing new light to the manga and everything.
Sure.
And Doctor, where can people find you?
They can find me over at SSAA Podcast.com. The Ask Backwards Enemy Podcast.
And you have other podcasts.
Oh, you want to go through the road?
Yeah,
now?
go through the.
Go to GensamaPodcast.com. It's a show about some dude with a sword and stuff. I don't know. It's supposed to be some comedy show, I think. I think those are the only major ones that I'm going to be promoting right now, since I just released an episode of that.
And I forget, all the episode 100s are out, or
no, almost out. Like almost. I have like 5 hours left.
All right. For those who don't know, Doc did a 24-hour 100th episode, like spectacular thing. He's been putting it out in several hour parts for a while.
If you want to see hear my co-host yell at these two.
Yes, we get yelled at. It's a lot of fun. I know there's some listeners who want to hear us get yelled at, so it's perfect.
I didn't know how exactly that was going to turn out, I'll be completely honest, but no, it was really lovely. You guys are really cool on there, and
No, I know Foxy gets impassioned, and it was an interesting argument. No, we don't really talk about. We every so often, like when it gets really bad, we talk about it, but
it hasn't been too bad just yet. Maybe
the women's role in One Piece has been declining. I do agree with her. It's not quite where it was.
But anyway, you can go listen to that. It's up there on our site.
That's what we talk about. So we're not going to talk about it now. And Ed, where could the good people contact us?
Zach, they can contact us at OnePiecePodcast.com, Twitter.com, YouTube.com, and Facebook.com/OnePiecePodcast. OnePiecePodcast.tumblr.com is our Tumblr. Go there for funny pictures and other things. OnePiecePodcast@gmail.com is our email address. One Piece Podcast is our Skype name. Don't forget to subscribe on the Stitcher Smart Radio app, or you can also subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, or call us on our phone number. Zach?
That phone number is 347-497-MAJI. That phone number again is 347-497-6254. Call anytime.
Anytime.
With your questions, comments, and theories. Great episode today. I've really been having a lot of fun in this 2014 season. But despite the crazy weather outside, I think we've had a lot of fun on the podcast itself. Maybe that's...
This podcast so far this year has been like a blizzard of good times.
Yes. Well
that
punned.
was a terrible symbol.
Well punned. Steve, since before we go, is there anything happening with you? Should let you have a chance. Drawings, conventions, websites.
Well, I doodled this little stick figure. I'm doing conventions like usual. KatsuCon's coming up. I will be there. We're not doing a panel or anything. It's just me. So come say hi. Buy a print. Boston's coming up. What was it? I'm going. Zenkai Con, ASEN, Anime Expo way down the line. Name a few.
We will be announcing our convention schedule hopefully soon. I'm just waiting for some approvals for panels, and I'll let you guys know where we're planning on going. I think Anime Boston is probably going to be happening, and Anime Expo. Steve, you'll definitely be there, right?
Yeah, I will be there.
A panel's definitely happening
but...
for Anime Expo. Don't know when, don't know how, but it's going to happen. I think we're...
And I will not be there.
Yeah, Ed will be studying for the bar, which will happen 3 weeks after that, so Ed will not be there.
And if Zach comes, myself, Zach, and Doctor, will you go?
To Expo? I'm going to Boston, but I don't know about Expo.
Okay, we'll see Doc at Boston.
Well, while Ed will be studying for the bar, me and Zach will be at a bar.
Oh,
I know. I can't rub it in Ed's face because I've been through it, and it's just so terrible. I'm not gonna do that to you, Ed. I can't.
Okay.
I've heard that joke. I heard that joke every day, and it pissed me off.
Steve, take a boo.
Take a boo earns. Why did I say that twice on this episode? I'm also hoping to go to Anime North in Toronto. That is our most requested convention. It's also a very big convention, and it's it would be nice to finally give the Canadians, a little bit of One Piece representation there. Sorry. So hopefully that's going to happen. I think it can. There's no reason why not. So yeah. And if you're not near Toronto, our good friends at the Toonami Faithful podcast, along with the guys at Toonami, will be at. Why am I forgetting the name?
MomoCon.
Thank you. MomoCon in Atlanta, Georgia.
Because it's in Atlanta, and that's where Adult Swim is.
It's snowed in. 2 inches.
Didn't it get 2 inches?
2 inches.
God, at least...
It's Edward Snowden.
Oh, my God. That's you right now in D.C.
Seems like Dallas handles their snow a lot better than Atlanta.
It's the government's
Dallas is
fault
Dallas is already set so far back with... Atlanta is already set so far back with the ridiculous highway system they have.
Oh god.
Oh, do you remember? I hate to say it, but we drove through there in nice weather, and it was terrible. So I could only imagine what 2 inches of snow. Well, I saw what happened. So yeah, we hope everyone out there in the South is okay after that snowstorm, and everyone in the North and Midwest is okay with the next 5 snowstorms that are going to happen before our next episode of the podcast. So we're saying, stay warm. Stay safe. For the One Piece podcast, my name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
We'll see you next week, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. It's pretty warm down here.
Shut up. This is the wait. I should probably test. Okay, this is a test of the unofficial One Piece podcast. My name is Zach,
and my name is Ed. How are you doing, Zach?
Tired but good. How are you, Ed?
I'm doing fine.
Okay, Steve.
My name is Steve, and do I have everyone's attention now? Seriously, because I need to know if my mic sounds good.
Yeah,
is this on? Hello.
Doc.
I am Doctor. Can I have some decorum here?
Got some bad news. Doctor is on the podcast.
Steven?
That's catching on for whatever reason.
I don't know.
Hello. Test. I have no pithy sayings today.
Come on. I just want to hear you in that Ian McShane voice for the rest of the podcast.
No.
This is the unofficial One Piece podcast, episode 300. I forgot the fucking number. Let me try that again. I was going to say 334.
You fucked up. You fucked up.
This is the unofficial One Piece podcast, episode 304 for the week of Monday, February 3rd, 2014. My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
Ed, you sound like shit.
Really? Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audio... oh, fuck. All right, let me...
I still think my promo was better.